What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the World Wrestling Talk podcast. I am Chris Walker, and I am here with a couple of people. First of all, the guy who's become a constant on the show, host of the Comic Cave, my man, Chris Temez. What's going on, Chris Temez?
What's going on, Chris Walker? It's great to be back.
What do you have going on, man?
We just did a show for Comic Cave a couple of days ago. It should be out this Friday. It is currently Wednesday, July 8th. So it should be out the 10th of this week. We talk about anime stuff and manga, so stay tuned for that.
All right, another Podnation podcast. That's the Comic Cave. And with us this week, we have the guy who's really the mastermind behind World Wrestling Talk. He created the Facebook group, which has grown, and he and I met. I'm going to do this. He and I met watching wrestling. A mutual friend of ours, we would go together to Brewings to watch the pay-per-views every month. And so I'm glad to have you here. He's a good fan of wrestling, a good friend of mine, Mr. Ice Cold Tristan Baldwin. What's going on, man?
Man, thank you for having me here.
All right, so tell us about yourself really quick, Tristan. How do you feel about wrestling? How long you been a fan?
Well, I've been a fan for, say, 2 decades now, since I was about 3. Now I just really have a passion for wrestling, and the group started basically, I needed more friends that loved wrestling. So it's like, hey, why don't I just create a page? And it just started to grow, and it's still growing. So we're in a few months now, and so I'm just expecting that first year, and I think that's going to be great.
Yeah, the group is really where it's at for World Wrestling Talk. We live post wrestling events. We didn't really do Beast in the East, which we're going to talk about later, but we do that because it's a mutual community of wrestling fans. It's where Chris Temez is as well. Isn't that right, Chris?
Of course. I was brought on by you, sir.
And we love the group. Great members of the group. We hope you all are listening. This podcast is a result of you. We're going to get right into the World Wrestling Talk podcast, of course, brought to you as a part of Podnation, one nation under pod. Isn't that right, Chris?
Yes, sir, but go right ahead.
All right, we're going to move into, of course, the Power Rankings for the week, which is where we like to start. These are last week's Power Rankings we're going over, updated as of June 3rd. So what we're talking about does not include the Beast in the East special or this week's Raw. Those will be up by the end of the week. So let's get right into number 5. Number 5 in the Power Rankings this week, guys, is the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. What do you guys think about him being at number 5? Should he be higher? Should he be lower? Where are we at?
I think he should be. Oh, Kristen, go.
It's right. He should be, I guess, at the top, number 1 where he should be. Brock brings the ratings in. People watch Raw for Brock. Raw has been kind of stale a little lately, but when Brock Lesnar is going to appear, people are going to watch.
Well, that goes without saying. Also, yes, Brock Lesnar, he's number 5. I think where he should be where he's at. Brock, I like him. He's a good dude. I think his kind of gimmick is kind of getting a little bit stale. He's the Beast Incarnate. I'll take down anything you can bring at me. Okay, we've seen that now. Like, what else? Like, don't just show your face every couple of fucking episodes and that's it. Don't do that.
He's a busy man. He runs his own city.
Well, he doesn't. He's not in UFC anymore, so what's he busy about?
Well, it's kind of like The Undertaker. That surprise. Whenever The Undertaker shows up, it's a special attraction. That's what Brock Lesnar is.
That is true. But one thing you have to, understand, Undertaker's old. He has nothing to prove anymore. I don't think he really wants to wrestle. After WrestleMania 30, I thought that should have been like his last match.
Agreed.
That should have been like, that's it. We talked about that before. But I don't think Undertaker, like Brock, like Randy Orton. Like, what do these guys have going for them where they can't be there all the time? Yeah, they are getting old. The road is getting to them. If that's true, then become like a backstage guy. Like they have a road dog. He's like a
producer.
Yeah, he's a producer now.
Agent.
He's a road agent. Why don't they just do that and let these new guys from NXT and these Kevin Owens, these Nevilles, Tyson Kidd, these new guys, Cesaro's take their place?
It's hard to walk away from it. Look at Hulk Hogan. He said it recently. Like, he had some tests with WWE to get back in the ring, and he really wants a match at WrestleMania 32.
See, why?
Well, he's still, once you get that itch, man, once you get in the ring, it doesn't go away. You look at the last time they had an encounter in the ring, I believe it was with Brock, if I'm not correct. They had a whole lot of legends in the ring, but these guys are itching to bump. These guys are itching to just, it's an addiction. You don't do that for years out of your life and not want to keep going, unless, of course, you're Stone Cold Steve Austin, which we're going to talk about later. But Brock Lesnar, right where he should be, I think, considering at the point when this was published by WWE, he hadn't had a match. Even since then, he had a dominant showing at Beast in the East, which, of course, we're going to talk about later as well. But Brock Lesnar at number 5. At number 4, this is a surprise to me, fellas, Sheamus. I mean, Mr.
That is a real big surprise.
Yeah, Mr. And apparently he was there the week before as well. I mean, he is Mr. Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
He has been winning matches, albeit mostly thanks to Bray Wyatt. But Sheamus is getting wins. He's Money in the Bank. So he's at number 4. What do you guys think about that?
Well, Sheamus, I never really liked Sheamus. Now, I do like the different gimmick, change that he has now.
I love this gimmick.
That's going for him. But honestly, Sheamus is a mid-card at best. But I feel like giving him the Money in the Bank, it keeps your eyes open. You're just waiting when he's going to cash that in. I feel like when Brock Lesnar just wins the belt, Sheamus is going to cash in.
Well, and the cool part about Sheamus having the Money in the Bank is it's not like Money in the Bank winners in the past, with the exception being Cena and, well, not even Cena, but Kane. If you look at Kane or even Swagger, those guys would be prompted to just beat you up and then cash in, which Money in the Bank winners, they're kind of been depicted as sneaky.
Right.
We're going to sneak in Miz Del Rio. We're going to sneak in and do it, but Sheamus is one of those guys who can come out.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, Seth Rollins. Sheamus is one of those guys who can come out, beat you up, and then cash in. So it kind of opens the door for creative.
Yeah, but if Brock Lesnar has the belt, that's not going to happen. You're not going to bro kick him and bam, 1, 2, 3. It's not going to happen.
I mean, Sheamus is a big surprise for me because like Tristan said, he's a mid-card at best. I think so. His gimmick that he has, I don't really like it. They matched it up with that video game, the app game, Immortals. They matched it up with that, so they're just like, okay, well, you can play as Sheamus. He looks just like the video game character. As for him winning, all of a sudden, I think it's obviously it's a work to make him look good, to make him look good for the fans, so they can buy more of his stuff, they can buy more of his merchandise. But yeah, he's got some pretty good heavy hitters. He wrestles real good. He's got some good takedowns and stuff. But I don't really see him as a world like carrying the business.
The human jar mayonnaise lid will be closed.
Yeah.
Well, if you look back though over recent years, it's been debate. Part of the turmoil between Vince and Triple H, because I can't think of which one. I want to say Vince. One of them has been very high up on pushing Sheamus.
It has to be Vince.
Pushing Sheamus. Well, actually, there was a while. Think about it. Triple H has always been high on Sheamus. Triple H doesn't get brutally taken out by anyone, but he let Sheamus do it a couple of years ago. So that is
Sheamus
a testament.
Is a Triple H guy. Sheamus actually wanted to be that guy. Whenever they needed him, Sheamus wanted to be that guy.
That is true. I remember there was an interview that the great CM Punk did where Triple H was pushing, instead of pushing CM Punk for this movie, they pushed Sheamus for a movie. And that's what he mentioned on one of the podcasts. I'm a CM Punk guy, so I'm going to be mentioning him a lot.
Okay, we'll leave you to see him as a Punk. Anyway, we're going to move on to number 3, though. A guy who's been consistent in the top 5 since we've been doing the podcast, and that is the United States champion, the leader of the C Nation, the man who doesn't quit, John Cena. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's a good spot for him. Cena is still in the main event, and hey, he brings the kids to the show. He brings the race.
So what can I say about Cena that has been said already? I mean, yeah, he's good and all, and he's great, but...
And he's better than CM Punk.
See, that's just not fair.
Well, think about it. What if Cena turns heel? We've been wanting that for years, but look at Hulk Hogan. It was years before Hulk turned heel, and the kids were into Hulk big time. And then when he turned heel, the whole wrestling world just went crazy.
Okay, so I want to bring this up real quick. You know, I don't know what the whole mindset of WWE is. I don't know who's running the show. Obviously, Vince runs the show, but I don't know who has it in their mind where they have to revert back to the Chris, and you know, like the 90s, everything was a gimmick. Everything was you have clowns and you have all this cartoony, yeah. And that's where they're going back. They're slowly going back to that era.
Well, think about it. In the 90s, they started off with USA Network, and then they left. And when they got edgier and stuff, they went to TNN and then Spike TV.
Yeah.
Who are they with now again?
USA.
So when they have these, you know, characters and stuff, USA pitches ideas.
I mean, but USA, that was Attitude Era. Attitude Era was USA.
Right.
The Ruthless Aggression Era was TNN, Spike TV, whatever. Then when they went back to USA, I think, you know what? I think this is my opinion, of course. This is one of the reasons why Shane McMahon left, because Vince told him where he wanted to take the company, and Shane was probably like, that's not wrestling. That's not what we do here. Why would we go back instead of going forward, you know? And obviously that's why Shane left and Stephanie runs the thing. Also, as we all know, whenever people get older, they want to pertain more to kids, to more their grandkids, you know.
Right.
What can my grandkids watch? And I think that's where Vince is at right now. I mean, I think NXT, the most dumbest thing. They're good wrestlers if they were different thing, but the vaudevillians, I'm just like, what in the hell?
Look at it. USA Network, their slogan is like characters welcome, or something like that. So.
Well, and I want to bring this up. If you look at it again, and if you look in the World Wrestling Talk group, you'll see I'm always the guy mentioning this. Vince does not target the hardcore wrestling fans anymore.
But that's who you should target.
Actually,
that's who's buying the network.
Well, it depends on what your goal. Actually, the people buying the network are nostalgia guys who have nostalgia.
The hardcore wrestler fans.
Not necessarily. It can be the casual wrestling fan who grew out of wrestling but wants to see Stone Cold drink a beer one more time.
That's true. Yeah, that's
either
true.
way, what I'm getting at is Vince is trying to produce a product that is for the entire family.
Well, think about the sponsorships he has. When the Attitude Era was around, it was hard to get sponsorships. Now they have Nickelodeon, they have Scooby-Doo, they have these different places pouring money into WWE, so I feel like that's why he's staying in the PG.
And look at this. Think about this. When targeting the kids, when The Rock and Johnston were having their rivalry, I don't remember if it was one or two, when The Rock mentioned Fruity Pebbles, do you know how much money WWE made when The Rock said Fruity Pebbles?
It should really be, I don't know.
Well, who's the competition? WCW was the reason why, for that 4 to 5 year period, that was the best in the world. That is the reason why they went to Attitude, because of WCW, for ratings.
That is true. There is no competition. Hopefully, GWF.
Nah, they
TNA,
did something.
Please, guys, do something.
GFW did something that kind of set them back, in my opinion, and we're going to talk about that when we get to news. But of course, I want to point something out. You know, I always point this out. We were talking about John Cena, and we started talking about the company as a whole, because John Cena is the company. It's the truth. John Cena is the company man. So let's move on to the number 3 spot now. I'm sorry, the number 2 spot. Now, we know I'm opposed to this guy. We know I'm not a big fan of this guy, but I love that he is in spot number 2, and that is Kevin Owens.
Yes, KO. I feel like he deserves the first spot. This guy just comes in NXT and he, proves everybody that, hey,
totally agree.
Here. I'm here to stay.
I think, okay, so with my opinion, Kevin Owens should be number 1, and this is why, because he is that wrestler. He is that wrestler that I was looking for. He is that wrestler that I want. He can talk, but he can talk. But oh man, he is a great heel. That is, to me, Kevin Owens is old school WWE.
Yes.
I mean, because he comes out and he makes you hate him. He comes out like what he did to
MGK.
Yeah, he like
golden heel.
No
move.
one does it. You think Dolph Ziggler's gonna do that?
He's
you
the
think
Shawn Michaels of the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, man, he gets in your face like, I'm a heel. Like what he did to Cena whenever Cena won. He's like, Cena's like, shake your hand, and he's like, and he.
I don't want your hand, boy.
And he beat the hell out of him. I love his laugh. I love his laugh.
The laugh.
That is what a heel is supposed to be.
Yeah, and people, the heels now are like, who's another heel in the WWE right now?
King Barrett.
Sheamus.
King Barrett.
Do you think Sheamus is gonna do something like go in the kid's face and start talking mess, or like shutting the kid up, or going into the fans' faces and like? No, he doesn't do that because I think he just wants to be. They're just telling him to do it, and he does it. As for Kevin Owens, he's another Triple H guy too, but I think he's gonna soon be like a Vince guy because he's a heel. He works the crowd.
See, he has a identity. Most of these heels don't have an identity.
I agree with you guys there. My only gripe with Kevin Owens, is he doesn't convince me on the mic. Everybody says, oh, he's good. He says the right things. Kevin Owens says the right things, but he doesn't convince me that it's what he
So you're looking for a speech. You're looking for that.
Yeah,
He's a reality heel.
Yeah,
That's
he's
what
like,
Kevin
he just
Owens
tells you straight up like, yeah, we're here. You've done the same crap. I don't like you, Cena. You know.
Right, that's fine. I think we need to stop putting him on commentary because that's when I like him the least. That's when I'm like, Kevin, please shut up.
I mean, he's not a CM Punk on commentary. But
no one's a CM Punk
takes
on
time.
commentary.
Look how long it took CM Punk.
I agree.
That's true.
That's what I've accepted. I've accepted that Kevin Owens, I say in 1 year, will be the number one heel in the company. We will have no need for Brock Lesnar when Kevin Owens steps.
Even Seth Rollins, who's like a heel, he's a heel, right?
I love Seth Rollins as a heel. In fact, I'm glad you.
But he's not going to go up to like, he's not going to go to a fan or tell a fan to go F himself or like, push him or, hit somebody. He's not going to do that.
Okay, no one's CM Punk. We're not going to hit fans.
Well, no, not hit fans, but he's not going to be in your face as much as Kevin Owens is.
He's a scary heel. Kevin Owens is more the intense heel.
Yeah, see, that's wrestling to me, man. That's like,
he's like the bodyguard
heel.
Seth Rollins will be the person that has a bodyguard.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens isn't a weasel. That's why I like his character. He's not a weasel. That's why, I think he needs to work as a heel, but I think his gimmick can easily translate to face. And should it right now? No.
Hell no.
But I think that if they want to go that way, he can, and I think he'll do great at it as well. That's why I believe, as much as I'm not on the Kevin Owens bandwagon,
Did you see him?
but I believe Kevin Owens is one of the guys, if he can last, will be the future. He's old.
Well, back to what you were just saying about him possibly being, a face or a heel, I feel like WWE has lost that. When a wrestler was a heel, he was a heel for years.
Yeah.
The Rock was a heel for years.
Yeah.
Then he became a babyface. Now it's like, all right, every month or two or every other show, you're a heel or you're a babyface.
Like I remember the Cesaro and the Tyson Kidd, they were a heel tag team.
Right.
Now, like 2 months later, they're like, oh, we like them.
Well, where that comes in is it's the fans. If the fans like a worker, they will like the worker, and they will cheer for the worker. That you can thank CM Punk for that.
Thank you, CM Punk.
Because CM Punk as a heel, we love the man. Tell us again. Tell me I'm a loser.
Yeah. You have a vagina. I like that.
Good job, Chris.
Well,
either way, you get what I'm saying? And so when you like the worker, and Cesaro and Tyson Kidd are the best workers. And so the fans get behind them. It also didn't help that they put them against New Day. And so...
Yeah, okay. Well, I want to talk about New Day for a little bit, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so when you like a worker, and that's kind of the problem with Kevin Owens, in a sense, because people like him. So he has to do those dominant heel things. That's the problem with John Cena. People don't like him. And so we don't like well, I'll say we. I love John Cena.
He's an anti-hero.
You all hate the worker, And so it doesn't matter if he's the good guy. You're just going to boo him because you don't like the worker.
Also, John Cena, if he does turn heel, is it really going to be surprising?
It has to be at a special event.
That's what I'm saying.
It has to be a good storyline tied into it.
And I think it should be a double turn as well.
What do you mean?
I think they should have him going against someone who's a great heel. Do like Austin and Rock did. The problem is, if John Cena is The Rock right now, he has no Austin.
Daniel Bryan would have been the perfect person for John Cena to turn heel.
No, you can't. Daniel Bryan was a great wrestler.
Excellent wrestler.
Great wrestler. On the mic, he was all right.
I like Kevin Owens better.
He was all right. But yeah, you got to give Daniel Bryan his due. He was a great wrestler. He still is. I mean, you never know. He might come back.
No.
You know what? Have Cena cheat on Nikki Bella.
Please don't bring that into this.
No, we don't want Nikki. Get Nikki out of here.
That would, kind of turn him to a heel. Him cheating on her,
No, but that's the thing. I don't want that relationship that's too little.
All right, so we're going to move on, though, to the number one spot. You can guess who it is. The WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the man who's giving out Apple Watches. We're talking about...
Oh, wait, what?
Get him out of here, dude.
Wait, where's Cesaro?
We're talking about Seth Rollins at number one. Cesaro was higher up and he's going to continue to progress higher up with great matches, but Seth Rollins is number one, and rightfully so. He is our champion.
Yeah, Seth Rollins is number one, which is a real big surprise because he really hasn't been doing anything.
Right. Well, this ranking is right after the dominant attack on Brock.
But still, I mean, he really hasn't done anything since then.
I think Battleground is going to be something different.
Do you think we'll see a title change in Battleground?
Well, look at Seth Rollins. He's been using the pedigree. And look at Triple H.
Yeah.
Triple H hasn't been out to the ring lately at all. He used to always come out to the ring with Seth. Now he's always backstage. And he's like encouraging him, hey, go do it. Go do it. So I feel like there's going to be some type of heel. Well, they're already heels, but somebody's going to backstab somebody.
Rumor mill has it that Stephanie McMahon is pregnant. That's why they really haven't been on TV. Yeah, like they haven't really been on TV. But those are the dirt sheets. Those are the dirt sheets. Right. Those are the rumor mill. But yeah, and I did mention that on World Wrestling Talk that Stephanie does have a little tummy. The last time she was on Raw, it looked like she had a little tummy.
Well, that's going to screw up everything because they want her. Well, they want her and Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam.
That's
now
crazy.
They want them at
Dana's not going to let that happen. It's not happening.
But
Dana White and Vince McMahon have been just playing with each other for years.
It could be a work.
I think so. I honestly think that, and once again, I honestly think that the CM Punk Vince McMahon, that's a work. I mean, to my core, that is a work. Like, once again, the Montreal Screwjob, that was a work. We'll never know, but I feel like that was
They did have a documentary on it. But they never showed Bret Hart punching Vince McMahon in the face in that documentary.
He had like makeup on the next night on Raw.
Right.
He was all like squirmy. I wish I had a time machine. I wish I was a fly on the wall in that building at that time because that was a work. And I think the CM Punk thing is a work as well. It has to be. I mean, CM Punk was a guy who was he loved wrestling, and for him just to I don't like it anymore.
Right.
That's crazy. That was crazy right there.
CM Punk is a quitter. Either way,
quieter.
We just finished talking about the Power Rankings. We're going to be right back. We're going to take some time to let you know about some other programs we have for Podnation. And after that, we're going to go right in the news right here on the World Wrestling Talk podcast brought to you by Podnation.
What up, everyone? This is Andy from Game Grok. If you guys are into comics, movies, and other nerdy pursuits, at the Podnation label, we have a show called Comic Cave with my good friends Chris and Russ. Check it out for your fill of comics and comic-related news. Links can be found down below.
Hey, everyone, this is Chris from Comic Cave here with my hetero life mate.
Russ, what's going on, bro?
We're here to inform you that there's a new show from the Podnation label called Emissions featuring Cody and Quentin. Russ, tell us what that show is about.
Emissions is an automotive show, so if you have any questions about the automotive world in general, they will literally be talking about anything that you would possibly need to know.
Go check out that show, Emissions, here on the Podnation label now.
What's up, guys? It's Cody from Emissions with Quentin here to tell you about a new show from Podnation called Game Grok, where they talk about games, game strategies, and industry gossip. Go check them out at Podnation now.
What's up and welcome back to World Wrestling Talk Podcast, brought to you as a part of Podnation.
Those are awesome shows. I want to see those shows.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I'm Chris Walker here with, of course, Chris Temez and Tristan Ice Cold Baldwin. We are just happy to be with you, and we're going to get into some WWE news for this week. So starting off, guys, let's talk about the fact that both Tough Enough and Total Divas are potentially facing cancellation.
I saw Total Divas last night. I thought it was a pretty good show. I mean, it's Total Divas. What do you expect? I'm not going to watch Tough Enough. Tristan, do you watch Tough Enough?
Tough Enough to me, it's different from the last season. For one, I want WWE to do it consistently. Stop doing it every 4 or 5 years and then come back with it again.
Well, I mean, we're just trying to see we're trying to get they're trying to get the audience nostalgic. Like, oh, we're having this Tough Enough.
Well, see, the last season it was more reality based and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Now it's different with the voting and stuff like that. I don't feel like that's fair. But also, I find it funny. Nobody realizes. The person who won the last season, he was, what's the dude, freaking...
Exactly.
His name was the freaking something or something like that.
Yeah.
He was the first, he won the thing. The first person eliminated was Cameron. And guess who is still in WWE
Cameron,
right
yeah.
now? Exactly.
That
Nobody
goes with the
else.
same thing with...
Ryback, Miz.
The Maven won the first Tough Enough, and he's gone. But you see, the Miz is still there. Right. Also, other old wrestlers are still there. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like American Idol. You don't hear from the winner, but you hear from the people that were contestants.
But we haven't seen any of them though. Now some of them were signed to before NXT became NXT.
Yeah,
like Alicia Fox's sister. She was actually a great wrestler, better than Alicia Fox. But
Alicia Fox
but she quit. So,
I watched Total Divas. It's a good show. I mean, yeah, it's for women. I guess it's based for women, whatever.
Yeah, it's targeted for women who love that paparazzi entertainment type stuff.
I mean, I guess, but I think it's pretty cool. Plus, I get to see the divas. I get to see puppies. I get to see all that kind of stuff.
It gives you, I guess, a glimpse of their life outside of wrestling.
The one thing I don't like about Total Divas is how much the Bella twins insult my intelligence. Like this last episode, they were just like, oh, it's not about the money. It's about the wrestling business. No, it's about the money. Don't kid yourself, Bella twins.
All about the money.
You kept coming to WWE because they guaranteed you a championship title. They guaranteed you more money. It wasn't because oh yeah, we love this business, but we sacrifice so much. Look at Brie Bella Brimo. She hasn't done nothing.
They would be nothing without WWE and without Cena.
And same, they were all this past episode. They were getting on the red hair girl. Damn it, I forget her name. Eva Marie. They were getting on her because, Eva Marie has special treatment. And then Nikki Bella was like, the WWE isn't a stepping stone for Hollywood. Yes, it is, aka The Rock. That is WWE.
That's what Randy wants to do.
WWE is a huge stepping stone for Hollywood. Right. I mean, yeah, you have The Rock. Stone Cold was in it, I think. And now, oh my God, Dean Ambrose, jeez.
Well, at least Eva, she's been working on her in-ring ability.
Yeah. And
she's supposed to have a big push when she returns. So that will be interesting because she gets a lot of heat when she comes in. Nikki, I'm sorry, she sucks as a wrestler.
Yeah.
So does Brie. And I'm like, your husband is Daniel Bryan and you suck. Your acting is terrible.
Yes, yeah. Brie hasn't done anything, nothing.
Oh, I see a turn coming. You see how many times they hit each other last week on Raw?
Every single Raw episode when they come on, I just pray that Karma's music hits. When she left, she was like, she's coming back. She's not with TNA anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be a great perfect situation right now. Paige is alone. I can see they added Alicia Fox to Team Bella.
Alicia Fox is hot.
I could see them just jumping Paige, and then all of a sudden that scary.
But that's where Charlotte and Sasha Banks comes in.
Oh, that's a good angle.
We have all these old WWE wrestlers. Why can't we have some old divas come out like Trish Stratus or Lita, or maybe what's Stacy Keibler?
Ooh, speaking of old divas, Dirt Sheet Richard Gray did a Where Are They Now with Kelly Kelly.
Oh yeah,
Kelly Kelly is about to do a show on E that's going to come on in the time slot after Total Divas, interestingly enough.
Or Mickey James. Where's Mickey James?
TNA. She got hit by a train because Bobby Roode threw her on the train tracks. This is why I don't watch TNA.
Now that sounds like, okay.
So, yeah, Mickey James.
Okay.
But either way, Kelly's going to be on E right after Total Divas. The show is based about women who were married to athletes.
I remember Ivory. I want to bring in Ivory. Where are all these old WWE?
They actually had a little article on Ivory on WWE where they are now. I forgot what she's doing. Now I know
old WWE superstar guys. They need to bring the divas, man.
So I want to bring something up though, and talking about the shows potentially being canceled. Tough Enough is an easy situation. It's inexpensive to produce. You can easily put it on the network.
Mm-hmm.
Total Divas is another situation, considering their audience are not network subscribers. People who
But they have the shows on the network.
Right, but their main audience watches E, and that's when they watch the show. So if you take it off of E, which is what potentially could happen, then Total Divas might just end because their audience doesn't subscribe.
Well, Total Divas is in this, fourth or fifth season right now. So it would be okay. Mm-hmm. But I highly doubt E would give that up because it's their highest viewership besides the Kardashians.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it brings it in, but it's not what E wants.
No, because I saw the rating sheets, and the ratings they're below 100 million viewers.
E as in itself is in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, I guess now they are.
Let's move on to some other news. Since you were talking about Divas and you mentioned it, Divas coming up from NXT.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's awaiting the arrival on the main roster of both Charlotte and Sasha Banks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Charlotte having as much of an impact because, one, she's old for a diva.
Charlotte is like another Natty. I think so.
But look how Natty got used, and Natty is one of my favorite divas.
Once again, I'm sorry, going back to Total Divas, they were doing a Natty. Natty was on Total Divas last night. They were like, they want to give me a push, a new gimmick. It was a dominatrix gimmick, and they didn't do nothing.
Well, see, this is why I don't like Total Divas. I like Total Divas, but then this is why I don't like it. Mm-hmm. Keep wrestling.
That's true.
They don't need to talk about what storylines or things, because they did that with Naomi. It was some type of love storyline she was going to get. I'm like, you should exactly, especially when you have non-wrestling fans.
Is there really kayfabe anymore?
No, thanks to the internet and guys like us who sit and talk about it.
I mean, but that's not true because with Kevin Owens, that's kayfabe.
Yeah, definitely.
But, he doesn't go off Bray Wyatt's kayfabe. I've never seen him do an interview as the world eater of worlds.
Bray Wyatt is a smart man.
That's what I'm saying.
You rarely ever saw Undertaker break character.
I still haven't even seen him break character. I think
he's done a couple
whenever he
things.
was the American Badass, he broke character. But
that's when he was at UFC and stuff.
But everything else, I don't see Bray Wyatt. I don't see.
That's why you never see Undertaker in the Hall of Fame. He's always backstage.
Do you think it's going to happen?
That needs to happen. It's better.
WrestleMania 32 in Dallas is definitely. That's what they're trying to get. All right, going to Stone Cold. The whole thing with Stone Cold, that is a work. That is a work.
What do you mean?
With Stone Cold saying like he's not going to wrestle or anything like that.
Gosh, Tristan, that was 2 stories from now, but let's talk about it. Stone Cold said in an interview that he has wrestled his last match. He doesn't want another match.
Who was his last match? Was it The Rock?
It was The Rock at WrestleMania.
Okay.
Which is a great way to end your career.
Yes, on top of
Now, he mentioned in the interview that he ended his career sooner than he would have liked, but Stone Cold had a great career. It was short. He had a short stint at the top. If you look at the greats, he was probably the shortest at the top.
Yep.
But he was the most impactful.
Yeah.
In a period of time.
I think the same thing goes for Edge.
I just think about if he never broke his neck in that match with Owen Hart, where would his career?
Oh man, he'd still be in there right now. He'd be like the Big Show.
CM Punk would have never happened.
But then he walked out too.
But then he'd come back.
Right.
CM Punk would have never happened. If Austin were still Austin, CM Punk would have not happened.
I think you're right. I think Stone Cold and CM Punk that WrestleMania 30 or 31, that would have happened.
That was the dream match, and now they're talking about bringing him back to go against Lesnar.
That was never a dream match to me. A dream match at WrestleMania to me would have been Austin versus Goldberg, both in their prime.
But in Goldberg's prime, he was still crap.
Yeah.
But look at it. You have Goldberg of WCW.
Undertaker versus Sting.
That's what's going to happen next year.
That's what we want to happen.
Put Taker in the Hall of Fame and then
Actually, Vince McMahon is getting sour on that idea.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon, he just needs to retire.
If you look at
Shane O'Mac needs to come back. I'm telling you, man.
Bring back Shane O'Mac. # bring back Shane O'Mac.
I will mark out if I hear that. Here comes the money.
Oh my God.
Money. But Shane, great entertainment. So let's go backwards a little bit to the story before this. The announcer notes. Someone leaked announcer notes. Now, this was nothing surprising to me, guys. I knew Vince was in the announcer's ears. I knew Vince was really strict on it. It's on the Mick Foley special.
Right.
Where he talked about his time as an announcer and how he couldn't handle it because Vince was just a giant jerk to the announcers. And it's not really Vince being rude. It's Vince is very particular about what he wants going out. So the notes featured things like
don't call a wrestler, call them superstars.
Don't call them pro wrestlers, call them superstars. Don't call WrestleMania the granddaddy of them all anymore because it makes WrestleMania sound old.
I never heard him.
Michael Cole used to say it. JR used to say it.
Well, also, you got to think about trademarks and things. But it's Raw is a TV product. It's not like TNA or anything like that. They have investors, so they had to keep certain things going and eliminate things in the process. We as fans, we just watch the show and we're like, hey, this booking sucks or we want this and that, but it's a lot that goes into it.
What about, you said earlier about the backbreakers no longer can be said?
Right. Yeah, the backbreaker. Michael Cole was told not to say it anymore. I'm not sure. That could be,
it
a lot of
makes
things.
sense if you look at the fact that we don't want people talking about breaking people's backs.
Well, you got a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Chris, we're not Bane. We're not going to break the bat here.
Well, I mean, still, but you have a wrestling show. Why would you take wrestling names out of a wrestling show?
To make money.
Hey,
how does that affect you making money?
When I watched the Attitude Era, when I, played the games, of course, on the trampoline, I wrestled with some friends and stuff. But we survived it.
Exactly. And I was in my teens when the Attitude Era came out. I was like 10, 12, 11, whatever. So, I mean, I don't understand why they're like, no, you can't do that, or you can't be this way, or you can't,
Let me explain this. You guys survived it, but there are kids who did not. There are kids who
and we call those kids stupid because why would you take a chair and hit your brother with it? I mean, that's just
because Stone Cold did it.
Think about it. You have movies that do way worse than anything WWE could ever do. You can't say, oh, well, I watched this movie, that's why I did it. They're going to be like, no, you idiot. It's a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie.
But kids think wrestling is real.
They think movies are real too.
Yep.
The thing is, and even if movies do bad things, just because they do bad things, does that make it okay?
And you have to, like I said, you have to think about when the Attitude Era came, there was like Suck It, there was all that other stuff. I mean, there was all like bad.
Yeah.
Puppies and divas, but I never really shouted that stuff out. I never said, oh, puppies.
Yeah,
we talked about this last time, Chris. You told somebody to suck it.
Well, like maybe at the playground, but not like when there's adults around.
Now, you see, let me explain something. This is a story.
I never flipped a bird or something like that.
When I was in middle school, we had our own wrestling federation.
Yeah.
This kid was the world champion. We could never beat him. I was the Paul Heyman. Right? But then I got in the ring once. It was a little deck with some benches. Got in the ring because this kid called me out. The kid tried to do a diving crossbody. I caught him and slammed him on the bench. Like, it was dangerous.
Well, you should have done that, sir.
But
common sense.
Sir,
I saw wrestlers do it.
I mean, common sense. If you can be programmed that easily.
There was a kid that killed himself in Chicago for watching Fat Albert, the cartoon. They blew like a little bubble, and they were like floating in the bubble. So this kid looked out the window, blew the bubble, and thought he was going to float.
See, that's why Fat Albert's not on TV anymore. Anyway, let's move on to more news. This is something I'm very excited about. I've purchased every wrestling game since SmackDown Here Comes the Pain.
You're late, buddy.
Huh?
You're late, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I was late getting a game system. And so I had WrestleMania 2000.
There's a third SmackDown game?
There was SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. Yeah, it was.
I stopped at
There was SmackDown 2.
I stopped at SmackDown 2.
Yeah, and then then Brock came on the scene and they named the game for him. And he was on the cover. Then they went into the SmackDown versus Raw series, which was great. Then they went into the WWE series. Now we're in the 2K series, which I'm not too happy about. But either way, October 27th, 2K16, also known as 316,
the biggest roster,
the
ever.
largest roster in wrestling history.
So that's Stone Cold thing. That's real legit.
Yeah, Stone
Yes,
Cold
yes.
is the.
okay.
There was a commercial that played during Raw for it, and Michael Cole mentioned that Stone Cold is the cover athlete, which makes sense. 16.
You would think. I mean, I understand that, but you would think at least Seth Rollins would be on the damn cover.
No, they have to.
Austin brings, like, people are going to want to buy it because
That's
Austin
true.
is on the cover. Especially some guys who used to watch wrestling. They're going to see, I remember Steve
Yeah.
Austin, and they're going to want to buy it.
Yeah, it's
Who was the last current guy?
Cena.
Cena was the last?
Cena's
Cena,
on the
and
current
then
game.
Daniel Bryan was on the alternate cover, and
Yeah,
The Rock was on the alternate cover of last year.
Well, there was an alternate cover. I ought to
was
look at
like-
the game when I get home.
Who was on the
like
cover
two.
of 12 or 11?
Randy Orton was on.
Randy was
12 and 11.
SmackDown versus Raw 2011 featured. It was a couple of guys. I think Cena was the main one.
Who was on 13?
Punk?
Yeah, Punk was on.
Okay.
CM Punk. Did
See, I
cover
liked 13 because they had that Attitude Era, like, matches.
No,
and
they
stuff.
took out the story mode, really. I'll tell you, my favorite game will always be, it's a throw up between these two, SmackDown versus Raw 07 and 08.
I had to take it way back to No Mercy. No
Yes.
Mercy had it where when you won a match, you'll earn like money, and then you can buy like different things. So it's like you got paid.
Well, remember,
for the
I'm
match.
much younger, and so the first wrestling game I ever got was WWE 2000 on the Nintendo 64. Now, growing up a poor kid, the Xbox was already out when I got this game.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm just like, we would have so much fun. I went back and watched video of the graphics from that game, and I'm like, this is crap.
Well, remember with SmackDown 2, how you could just touch a button and bam, hit your finisher right away like that, and bam, you could win the match. And I feel like they should bring it back because you could go backstage without the long loading or anything.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
just fight all around the arena. They need to bring that
They
back.
had that on Here Comes the Pain and on the early
Right,
SmackDown
with
versus
the-
Raw
You
series.
can't do that
Undertaker
anymore? You can't
driving the
go
smoke.
around the...
No.
Oh.
No, 2K took away a lot. They improved the in-ring game.
See, I'm glad I'm not buying these games
This
anymore.
is what they need to do. I'm sick of when they have a superstar come in with a vehicle, on the game, it's just like automatically on the stage.
Yeah.
When Alberto Del Rio, when he had his car,
it would be on the side.
yeah, but on there, it was just like right on the stage and he pops out. I'm like, are you serious?
So you can't go in the backstage areas anymore?
No.
Oh.
All right,
You can have a backstage brawl, but
one last news story, and then we're going to take another break before we go into the recaps. This is big. We normally talk WWE here, but we are open to other companies. And so let's downgrade ourselves and talk about the number 2 company. TNA is collaborating with GFW. I think that's the death of GFW right there.
No, man. That's like the everyone loves an invasion angle. Everyone loves
Well,
an invasion.
it's not really an invasion angle. They're finally putting Jeff Jarrett into their Hall of Fame. You said earlier you didn't even know they had a Hall of Fame. But it's guys like, who's that guy, the one important guy from TNA? I can't think of his name right now. AJ Styles. AJ Styles,
New Japan
he refused to go into their Hall of Fame until Jarrett went in.
Okay, so you got to think. Jeff Jarrett, who founded TNA,
Right.
and then sold it off to the Carters or whatever the
Bad move.
yeah, whatever. And then now he founded GFW. So he's trying to merge basically his two companies together to take on this big mogul, WWE.
I don't know if it's necessarily a merger. Right now, what they really have is
It's an invasion. It's like
it's an invasion.
it's what we comic book characters like to call it's a shared universe.
But they're too small, they're too young to be in the invasion angle. When that
But they have the great wrestlers. I mean,
they do, but when they had ECW and then WCW going into WWE, they had established superstars. You knew who ECW was, and you knew who WCW was. With TNA, like, Impact and then GFW, you don't know their identity.
You know Davey Boy Smith. I mean, he's on there.
GFW, you just know
PJ
Jeff
Black.
Jarrett.
Oh, sorry.
There's a lot
That's
of
Ring of Honor, right?
Nah, he's on GFW.
Oh, okay.
there's a lot of characters on GFW that I recognize.
Yeah, because of WWE.
Yeah.
But that,
I mean, you have to. Okay, so you have to know, WWE now is the norm. It's the developmental. For everybody. It's like Chris Masters is on there. Okay, how do we know Chris Masters? Because of WWE. Chris Masters is at GFW. So WWE is now like where
you go to get famous. And
then you go
else.
somewhere else.
Keep your paychecks coming.
Well, but Tristan, you mentioned WCW and ECW. What I want to point out about WCW is when this was all going on during the Monday Night Wars, WCW had mainstream success on a similar level of WWE. Remember, David Arquette was their champion. You got.
When they brought in Dennis
Rodman,
the mailman.
You have these things. So they had pop culture success, which is why WWE is such a big company, because of pop culture.
That's true.
Success that these independent and lower level promotions aren't reaching. So you have that. Now, I saw Lucha Underground kind of capitalize on it. They were pointing out all the pop culture people who were in the audience. That's kind of smart. Speaking of Lucha, this wasn't in our news that we were going to go over, but Lucha is apparently taking an off season. I heard it on Purely Speculation yesterday with our buddy Zach Zimmerman. They're taking a off season.
What is it, like? They're not going to show.
Yeah,
so they're going to have a seasonal.
Like right now, Flash and Arrow are not on.
Yeah. Like they're going to have still seasons. They're going to what?
I'm like, you're a wrestling company.
Well, I guess that gives opportunity for their wrestlers not to get burnt out and then to do other things.
Well, and the production crew is going to go work on other shows, so it makes sense.
This is what WWE needs to do. They need to have NXT. Well, it's already going on the road, but they need to have their own show on a network like USA and compete against Raw. Kind of like with SmackDown.
Get rid of SmackDown.
No, give Paul Heyman SmackDown again. When Paul Heyman took over SmackDown, the ratings, they were shutting down.
Okay, wait a
Raw.
minute. You guys are talking about having WWE do seasonal shit?
No. I'm saying they need to go against NXT.
Again. Oh, bring NXT. Mix the brand. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the death of brand extension was that stupid Raw Super show. When they started advertising that and then made
I liked it. I liked how they.
I liked it because they had a chance to give the wrestlers on both shows.
Did you see the result of it? The result of a Raw Super Show is a SmackDown crapper show. Right. And SmackDown's just Raw recap.
I agree that
SmackDown doesn't have an identity anymore.
I mean, and I watch SmackDown faithfully. I'm going to watch it tomorrow night, because I can. And so...
Is it still on Sci-Fi?
Yeah, it's still on Sci-Fi. And during the summers, I watch SmackDown.
Honestly, I used to love SmackDown. Now it's like, I don't care if I miss it.
Yeah, growing up...
It's like
I can't miss Raw.
Remember Heat?
Right.
It's like Heat now.
Well, growing up a kid without cable, SmackDown was what I had. I remember it used to come on Thursday nights and then...
UPN.
On UPN, and then I'd go to school the next morning and we'd stand outside waiting for class like, man, did you hear... I remember this conversation. Did you hear John Cena's new entrance music? When he switched to his current music, we were like, this is awesome!
See, I think SmackDown should be... I think it should be gone.
They just need some writers again.
Once again, I'm sorry to interrupt. We were talking about WrestleMania 32. Would you guys want to see Rock Triple H or Rock versus Brock Lesnar? I'm just saying.
Brock.
I say Triple H.
I say Triple H because of the story.
Yes.
I like the whole idea of Rock
Kevin Owens
versus
and Brock.
But The Rock, he's a good wrestler, but he's not a great wrestler. Rock has his mouthpiece. His mouthpiece led him to the top, not his wrestling skills.
I feel like he does 5 moves of doom.
Right.
That's true.
Triple H and The Rock has a bigger story. They can have it where The Rock left and became this big movie star, and Triple H is taking over the company.
That would be a great match.
That, or they should do like an NXT invasion angle where Triple H is like, you know what, screw Raw stuff. I'm taking my NXT guys and we're going to take over your show.
And The Rock comes back like, no.
No, you're thinking too small. Shane O'Mac comes back and says, you're not going to defile my father's company like that.
And then Shane and Triple H have a match where Shane hits him with the thing, but then Kane comes back and kills Shane.
No, okay, Kane, Big Show, get out. Kane, Big Show, Mark Henry, get out of here.
Speaking of NXT and Shane O'Mac, I feel like they should have had a big main show of WCW. Like, you know how they have Raw? They should have had like Friday WCW or something like that.
Thunder?
No, bigger than Thunder. Like have WCW like on the same page as Raw.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that would have went on a long
Except
way.
Vince. Are you talking about after Vince won?
Yeah, after Vince won.
Vince didn't even want to bring in that world heavyweight title.
They didn't have that.
Vince wants nothing from those crap companies. He didn't even let the wrestlers keep their names half the time because Vince wants the world to know that he won. He's Big Daddy.
Right. But that whole invasion angle, it happened too quick, and then a lot of the big-time wrestlers were just buttholes. They just wanted to let their contract to run out, you know.
Yeah.
Just imagine if that lasted a year and had, like, Sting, had Kevin Nash, had Hollywood Hulk Hogan come in, it would have been much bigger, and the ratings would have been skyrocketed.
We're going to go right ahead into our recap of wrestling events. Of course, we got to start off with Beast in the East, a special. We don't see live events done often, but the fact that it was in Japan and they broadcast it, that was great. What did you guys catch it?
Yes,
I saw it, yeah.
Loved it.
Okay, so my first thoughts of it was I didn't care. I mean, initially,
I was like, why is Brock Lesnar facing Kofi Kingston?
Then I thought about it. It made
Death
sense.
match.
It made sense halfway through the match when I realized that New Day was going to come out and they were essentially going to be 3MB. You know, but other than that, I'm just like, this is just a normal live event. I've been to those.
Yeah.
You know, I noticed that when Jericho versus Neville, I'm like, this match has no significance with anything.
Well, I think the big ticket was Kevin Owens versus what was his name
Finn
again?
Balor.
Yeah, Finn Balor.
The new NXT champion, Finn Balor.
And now we're going to have Kevin Owens, the new USH World Champion.
Actually, Christopher, I don't think that's going to happen.
I do think it's going to happen.
I'll tell you why. Because we all expect it. Vince McMahon does not like doing things we expect.
Right.
So I feel like, unfortunately, because we're all, yep, it's going to happen now, Cena's going to win.
No.
I don't want Cena to win.
I hate how right you are right now. Damn it.
Yeah, we talk ourselves into these bad outcomes. You know, as wrestling fans and, of course, guys who talk a lot about wrestling, they watch these things. They read the dirt sheets. They know what the people think are going to happen, and they have to go against it. That's what.
Quick question. That Money in the Bank briefcase, is that only for a world heavyweight title, or is that going to be for anything like Intercontinental?
It's for a world title.
Yeah, world title. See, with the NXT, not NXT, the live events, they always have some mixed up mid-card matches or stuff like that always. It's like a test run. But that was like the first time that they had a title exchange in a live event.
Well,
Yeah,
they
that
have
was
to
true,
do it
yeah.
big in Japan.
True.
Actually,
And the Japanese crowd is so weird. No offense, but whoa.
well, they're very respectful. I remember, then this is outside of wrestling, it's more pop culture. Usher talked about doing a concert in Asia.
Yeah.
And how the people weren't cheering and singing along with them. They were quiet and paying attention.
Crazy.
And I think that's great because you're looking at an art. You're looking at these guys entertaining you, these guys doing matches, these guys putting their lives on the line or their bodies on the line. Of course, you're going to,
makes
it's
it
respectful.
dull. It makes it like library mode.
That's crazy.
Well-
but I was like, what's up with this crowd? Like, do they not get, like, what cheer?
But that's the problem with WWE now. The crowd cares too much about what they want to say and not as much about the actual match.
Because of the WrestleMania after crowd.
Oh, I hate that crowd.
What?
I hate
love
the
it.
after
I love that
WrestleMania
crowd. That crowd's awesome.
Because they're just there to say things.
Yeah.
Look, are you going to the show to watch the match or are you going to yell things?
Now,
You're going to show
Let's
support.
go back to it.
I'm not going to pay money to talk. I'm doing that right now.
When we went to Brewings before,
Don't even bring it up, Christian.
remember when you started to chant, fun, done, go.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, I'm one of the people who go to hear my own voice. I'm a hypocrite right now because Tristan and I would go to Brewings and watch wrestling, and I was the loudest one there. I was yelling anything I wanted to. I was the guy leading the Husky Harris chants.
What?
Yeah, that was me. But I'm not going to do that at a live event. I'm doing that at a restaurant where there are drunk people to entertain me.
Oh, yeah. Side note, where the hell is the Meta Powers?
Dude, they weren't meant to be there live.
I wish that was a good gimmick.
It was, I think.
If WWE was talking about gimmicks, that was a great gimmick. I liked it. I was entertained.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not entertained.
I love that Sheamus says that. So we talked about Owens and Jericho. those were the two things I want to talk about from Beast in the East because the main event was really lackluster. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
But let's move on to Raw this week. For one, viewership was up, which isn't a surprise because the last Raw posted the absolute lowest viewership they'd had all year. And
Who was at Raw this past
mid-year.
Monday?
I don't even know. I don't remember
Brock
last week.
Lesnar. He brings
I think
the ratings.
because the whole car thing. Let's talk about the fan getting hit by the car.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about the car first. I mean, we knew Brock versus the car was coming.
Looks like somebody went to like AutoZone.
J&J, they tricked that car out. I love that. But you had them. I didn't know what Paul was bringing out in the little things. I'm like, man, Brock's going to come and beat all three of these guys.
I thought he was going to shove that into the car. I didn't know he was going to like open it.
I don't know why it was. Our good friend Jason Esther, he always says if he was a wrestler, he'd just use a gun.
Right.
And I don't know why in my mind I'm thinking, oh no, Brock's getting a gun. Brock's going to shoot him. I don't know why. But here we are. He brings out axes, which I thought.
Like when he first opened it, there was big ass canisters of the fire extinguisher. I'm like, oh, so what's gonna happen?
I thought he was gonna
on fire and then put it out.
I was like, what is going on?
He's gonna shoot the gas tank with his gun. But no, it was I didn't like the axes.
Oh, the axes. It was.
I mean, but
it kind of made me scared. I'm like, what if he hits it and it pops off and
that's
gets
exactly what I thought. Yeah,
he couldn't use a sledgehammer though.
Oh,
so what do you use for those things?
He used bodies.
You use bodies, and he did that.
If what was it, Mercury? If he would have went through that window, was it Mercury or was it?
It was
Noble?
Mercury.
All right, if he would have went through that window from that suplex, I would have marked out.
I was happy. Brock was gentle with Jamie. You see, they didn't do anything towards the ribs. He just grabbed him and put him in a Kimura.
They broke his arm.
Yeah, he just put him in a Kimura.
Do you think he broke his arm?
No. He didn't.
Not in real life, but like, do you think they're gonna say like, "Oh yeah, he broke his arm"?
Yeah, probably. I mean, Jamie is the weasel, so they're gonna play on that.
Jamie always gets destroyed. His last match,
Sheamus,
as a wrestler, I forgot who it was against.
It was with Sheamus.
Oh, right, that power bomb
Sheamus killed him
to the ground. I was like, oh my god.
Sheamus killed Jamie Noble, and then Brock comes back, kills him again.
He's
I'm
done.
glad they handled that well. I was surprised when Brock broke that door off.
Okay, so let's say if you were that fan that got hit by the door, would you be cool about it, or would you be like, no, I want money?
I want all the money. I want to meet John Cena, right? I want to kiss Brie Bella.
Oh man!
All right, I want everything.
I would have just told Brock Lesnar, "Hey, dude, just sign it, and I'm gonna sell it on eBay." Okay?
Yeah. Can I have the car? I'll get it fixed.
I would have been like, I just want. I don't want money. I don't want none of that. I just want to meet
Vince
and have a dinner with Vince McMahon. That's all I want. If I get to just like sit down and talk with Vince for about 2 hours, I don't. You can hit me over the head with a chair.
I want to chill.
You'll tell him to put his phone on silent too.
If your phone has to be. His phone has to be on silent. I just want to meet Vince McMahon, have like dinner with him for 2 hours and just talk. I don't care.
But for those of you who missed it, when Brock ripped the back left door off the car and threw it.
Another thing, why would he throw it?
Because he's Brock.
Yeah, but like, you're an entertainer. Why?
Yeah, it was a dangerous spot.
Yeah.
But he tried to throw it back towards the backstage area, but that he didn't count on that piece ripping off.
Yeah.
And so a piece ripped off and it hit a fan. The fan was okay. They gave the fan some merchandise. Made them sign a release. Of course.
No, screw that. I want to meet Vince McMahon. Then I'll sign your release.
Vince McMahon, meanwhile, backstage probably had a mini heart attack.
Oh yeah. The door.
I would have loved to see how Vince McMahon reacted. Like, oh my god.
He probably just threw his headset to the ground.
My brother and I stopped and rewinded. We rewinded that spot because I said, wait, someone got hit. And it was dangerous. But
Phil SmackDown, they just did a cut scene.
Yeah.
You would never know.
Yeah, definitely. Finally, I want to talk about the main event of the evening. And that was the United States Open Channel with Cesaro and John Cena. Amazing. First of all, I I got excited because I was like, is Kevin Owens really about to try to take the belt now? What if Kevin Owens takes the belt now, and then that would just make the match even greater at Battleground? But Cesaro came out like, boy, who you think you is?
Man, I was like, okay, Kevin Owens is just going to walk backstage. He's coming back. And I really thought he was going to interrupt the match.
Yeah, same.
Thankfully, he didn't, because that was one amazing match.
I think that's why he didn't get out, because that was like, man, maybe Kevin Owens was supposed to go out, but they were like, yeah, don't go out.
Right.
I mean, there were a couple of botched moves, specifically the stunner from Cena.
That's dumb. He should stop doing that.
It's a difficult move, but if we're gonna do it, nobody should kick out of it. Like Steve Austin said, nobody should kick
it's not effective. It's like,
But I think it shouldn't be his finisher because of the fact that he's not sure he can hit it all the time. Cena's a big dude. I was explaining this. John Cena's new moveset consists of Hurricane Rana, a lot of tornado DDT. These are not moves someone as big as Cena needs to be trying.
It's Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
But if you look at Kevin Owens isn't buff. Cena is broad and big.
Yeah, Kevin Owens is fat.
Yeah, they're two different kinds of big. I could see someone like Kevin Owens being more able to hit a move. Just because they're two big guys doesn't mean it's the same.
Hey, if Kane can do it, why can't Cena?
Kane can't do a Hurricane Rana.
No, but Kane would fly from the top rope.
A flying clothesline. That's simple, easy. We'd still boo Cena.
Cena should do a top rope stunner. Just have his guy like he was going for a suplex, but then just stunner him from there.
I was telling Tristan earlier, that scary move what Kevin Owens does, where he does the top rope.
Yeah, he does that little twist suplex.
That scares me.
I'll tell you what I like, and that's Cena's the new move he does. It's kind of like a slam, but it goes into a face buster thing. I think that should replace the attitude adjustment. I think it's time to replace the attitude adjustment.
I think it's just time to get
make it more deadly. Kind of make the attitude adjustment kind of like Perry Saturn's Death Valley Driver. I think he kind of squad a little bit.
Great. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go on and wrap up this week's edition of the World Wrestling Talk podcast, brought to you by Podnation. Thank you, Trishna, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for creating the World Wrestling Talk group, man. It was a great idea. Of course, the link is down below, and the links to just about everything we've said are down below. But the group, man, it's awesome. It's where this podcast found its origin.
Yes, man. Just go on Facebook and type in World Wrestling Talk, and we will add you. But we do have some rules. As soon as you start saying wrestling this and that or whatever, you will get removed. We try to keep a wrestling fan base.
Yeah, I'm typically the guy who goes through removing people, so I really am. Now
I'm gonna go in there and blast CM Punk everywhere.
I also do the most. I think I do the most approvals, but I go through and I remove if you come in trying to advertise something that's not wrestling related, you're done. So let's keep that out of there. But go on, join the group. It's a great community.
And please, more indie talk. More indie talk.
Yeah.
We need more indie talk. This is World Wrestling Talk, not WWE Wrestling Talk. We need more indie talk.
Yeah.
So come on, indie fans.
Exactly.
Join the group.
Yeah. You guys are welcome. I mean, that's fine. But I'm going to talk about the big leagues. Thank you, Chris Temez, who's become a regular on the show. But of course, you can catch him in the cave, the Comic Cave.
The Comic Cave, airing every Friday. So this week we're going to have an anime show. Check that out on the Podnation label. Also in the Comic Cave YouTube, everything links are down below. Thanks to Chris Walker.
And Podnation's got some exciting things coming up. You heard the advertisements and the promos for what we got going. Check out our other podcasts. Check out what we have. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. So we're gonna keep on moving. We're gonna catch you guys in 2 weeks when we bring you back to the World Wrestling Talk podcast. I am Chris Walker, and I will talk to you when the bell rings again.